Arteta's game plan to start with was that we're okay with getting a point. I don't think he was going for the win.
I just felt like both teams were so scared to take a risk. For example, Saka. I think the Nando's hot sauce thing got to him today because he was not hot. I feel like a guy like Haaland need to really work on that all-around game.
Enrick coming out of Brazil, Lamine for Spain. Enrick scored again.
This could arguably be the best Galactico team that Real Madrid built. I might be looked at crazy. But I think they're in that route. Let me rephrase it. I think they're definitely in that route.
Nah, fuck that.
Because
hello, what's going on, y'all? It's your boy Elischa, and welcome back to another episode of Evergreen. This is episode 4, and whether you're watching on YouTube or listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, I appreciate y'all so much for tuning in with your boy this week to talk some footy. As always, wherever and wherever you're watching this, I hope you're feeling well. I hope you're feeling loved, and I hope you and your family are staying safe. But today, I am joined by the first ever Evergreen guest host. This man is a 4-time Grammy Award winner. I'm joking. Host.
Ballon d'Or vibes.
Ballon d'Or winner.
Thanos with the Champions League.
Professional footy talker. Coming from Footy Fanatics FC. The one and only my boy.
Love, bro.
Oski Omar. What up, bro?
Chef Oski with the pot. We in the building with your
Yes,
boy
sir.
E.
Yes, sir.
We got some good conversations to hype y'all up today. It's a lot going. He had the heat coming. I said, all right.
Come on, man.
Evergreen.
You know that.
I love being in this green space. I'm not gonna lie.
It makes you feel, the plants ain't real, but it's
I feel.
but it feels.
I feel like it. Woo, nature boy,
You know
Ric
what I'm
Flair
saying?
vibes. You know.
Photosynthesis.
For sure.
Don't skip science class, kids. But this week we're talking about a lot, obviously, in footy. So let's get straight into the topics, man. First and foremost,
we had the snooze vest. Don't hype it up. It's the snooze vest. Cut that out, bro.
Man.
First and foremost, Arsenal versus City.
the Premier League title race.
You ain't fall asleep?
The Premier League, I'm not gonna lie, bro. I caught the first half, and then I had to go to church because we're recording this on Easter Sunday, so it's Easter. But I kept checking the score as I'm in church. I just kept checking my phone to see what the score was, and it was still at 0-0. The whole time I was expecting that Gabriel Jesus was gonna do something. It's Easter, Jesus. We expecting a miracle. The skits was gonna write themselves.
Yeah, for sure.
The Premier League title race is exciting.
They've been hot.
They've been hot, but this game was super boring. Did you watch the game? How'd you feel about it?
Absolutely, full 90. Even the game before that.
Yeah.
I feel like it kind of like led to this title race, which was the Liverpool-Brighton game.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, they set the tone this morning.
Yes.
When they kept coming, they was losing behind and they come with the 2-1 win.
Yep.
And that puts them, I guess, in first. And then now you have both teams playing with a 1-1 with the point and the point.
Yep.
So that the 0-0 was, I feel like I don't want to blame them. As much, I'm a United fan. I'm going to sit here and but I don't.
You're very brave for coming
but
out and saying that full on, first of all.
Yeah, we can't be biased. So I'm going to be fair as much as I can. But it's really, I wouldn't want to say it was boring, but it was boring for the average viewers. It was boring. I just felt like both teams were so scared to take a risk.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, they both know what's on the line.
Do you blame them, though?
I felt like, but to me, I don't blame them, but I do, because I felt like the one team that kind of could have went for it could have probably got the result that they wanted. But at the same time, you're not going against a Brentford. You're not going against a Manchester United. Yeah. You're not going, I'm going to have to belittle my team like that. But you're going against a team that, imagine taking City that same way they play ball. Like, you know what, we're going to match y'all. Yeah. And they catch you on a counterattack in that game. Yeah. And once they get one and they sniff blood, it's 2-3. And that's the same with Arsenal. Yeah. So it was one of those situations, like, it's either we go for the kill or we just play chess.
Bro, but it didn't even feel like chess. It just felt like they know the stakes are so high that they're just going to play defense for the most part. Like I did feel like Man City was attacking a lot more. I thought Arsenal was a lot more defensive, and that they were okay. I think Arteta's game plan to start with was that we're okay with getting a point. Like, I don't think he was going for the win. It's like, yo, if we could get this point and just not lose points, we're okay with that. Because I don't know what the lineup of games for Liverpool to end the season. It's gonna be Sheffield, Man United, Crystal Palace.
Yeah, we got them this weekend, matter of fact.
Fulham, Everton, West Ham. They got Tottenham still too.
Tottenham hype. But go
Tottenham, Aston Villa, Wolves.
The Aston Villa Wolves game. So Tottenham, Aston Villa Wolves.
Mm-hmm.
That is a tough run. I ain't gonna lie.
Yes. And second to last game and last game for Liverpool, Arsenal and United again. Last game of the season.
We played them again?
Yes.
Damn.
Yes.
What is that?
Wait, hold on. No, that's I guess that's preseason.
Yeah.
For the next season.
Yeah, it should be. Yeah,
but the last one, no, Wolves is the last game.
Yeah, I was about to say we played them home and away.
Wolves is the last game.
Cups are done.
Wolves is the last game. Tough lineup. So for me, I'm thinking Arteta is playing the long game and saying that we can expect them to possibly
my fault for
drop
interrupting.
points. Yeah.
But what's the league standings right now?
League standings is Liverpool's first with 67 points. Arsenal's second with 65.
By 2 points.
Yeah.
So that today's game really.
Yes.
That Liverpool Brighton.
Man
really
City's third with 64. So for me, it felt like Arteta was okay with just getting a point, which is like it's gutsy, it's ballsy, because this could be it. Like Liverpool can very well go on and win the rest of their matches for the rest of the season. I can see that for them, but
you're looking at it.
You dropping points like that is very audacious. You're banking on them making a mistake more than you securing that win. But then again, in Man City, you're at the Etihad. That you can't afford to be so arrogant that you're like, no, we're going to go full for and try to score and try to beat them rather than just secure the point. Mm-hmm. So I get it, but it could very well cost them in the end.
I really think he tried to go for the win, but the way he tried to go for the win was he's trying to be cheeky with it. He tried to be cheeky with it with the same way that, because it's the master in the apprentice.
We've seen what it looks like when Arsenal's going for blood. It didn't feel like that today. It felt very cautious.
It's literally the game of chess. I feel like is a perfect way to say it, because it's the master and the apprentice. The master is Pep Guardiola. Mm-hmm. That was the head coach at City. Assistant coach was Mikel Arteta.
Yeah.
Right. So now you have Josep and Mikel.
Mm-hmm.
They know each other so well. It's like, all right, we have to cover this because he's gonna do this. He's gonna do that. He's gonna do that. To me, as much as both teams didn't want to take the risk, but we need to start also analyzing player individualism, the player individuals. For example, Saka.
Mm-hmm.
I know Glory Boy, but I think the Nando's hot sauce thing got to him today because he was not hot. So that hot sauce is definitely not hot. You have Foden. I'm a big believer in Foden. Since day one, since he was coming up the academies, I always thought he was gonna be a star boy.
Yeah. But
games like this, players like that really need to step up. Jesus, like you mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like a guy like Haaland need to really work on that all-around game. Because imagine a dude like an Mbappe in a big game like that. You could expect a moment of brilliance. Haaland was more like hanging by the net, waiting for De Bruyne just to feed him that one ball pass.
My thing with Haaland, and I've heard that criticism a lot, that Haaland needs to be a lot more multi-layered, multifaceted. That's like, we could have asked that of Suarez when he was at Barca, but Suarez had a cast around him that supported him being that. It's just like he's a master of one, and that's what he's here to do. Haaland came off of a legendary, an iconic, like record-breaking season. Right now, still in 28 games? He's got, how many goals does Haaland have right now? He's definitely in the double digits because he's leading. I know he's leading the league. He's probably like 17? Double digits. Yes. 17, 18. 18 goals. 18 goals in 24 matches in the Premier League.
And that's just the Prem alone.
That's just the Prem alone.
You gotta understand.
Compared to last season, that's a lot less. But he's still efficient. He's still doing what he's supposed to do. So I feel like a lot of times we're asking Haaland to do something that he's already proven that he's doing his job, and we're asking him to keep going above and beyond because of the standard that was set last year. He's doing what he's supposed to do. He's putting the ball in the back of the net.
It's not above and beyond. My fault. Stuttered crazy. It's not above and beyond. It's about, I feel like with Haaland, he's literally, if we're playing FIFA, R2, you sprinting and you smashing that whole button. Bop, yes. R2 smash. But let's be honest, not anybody could do that R2 smash. So you got to give him credit for being that monster.
Yes.
But then now there's going to be games, and we've seen it when De Bruyne got hurt. A lot of people are going to rely on you.
Yes.
The Jack Grealishes, these people,
yes.
We're relying on you. It's not just about KDB feeding you the ball. What can you do for the squad now other than just poach by the box? And like I said, I'm not mad at that. But the game has changed.
True.
And as much as we hold, for example, Mohamed Salah, we hold him at that standard.
Yeah.
Yo, he just a grab and go and then run, put the ball in the net.
Mm-hmm.
But he gets you assists, he gets you goals. He gets Suarez at pool was doing that. Suarez was taking free kicks, penalties, doing this, doing corners.
True.
He was all around.
He's also 2 years into the Prem. His second full season.
But that was always Haaland's type of style. A beautiful player to make runs,
Yeah.
get into channels, beautiful players to play back to goal. Any team would love to have that.
I feel like nowadays in the game, before we diverge too long, nowadays I do see that there's a lot more expectation on players to be able to play different roles, to do multiple things. I think back in the days it was more like, yo, you're like an Ibra type of player. Like, you do this. This is your thing. Put the ball in the back of the net. Be a killer. That's your role. Just play that role, play that position, and that's it, right? That's your square on the chessboard. But nowadays, it's like, I think, especially when players like Busquets as a CDM started having their hands in so many different pots, it's like now the expectation
set the standard.
Oh, well, we paying all that money. Why are we, the teams are like, why are we settling for you just doing one thing?
You got to understand, though, E, and that's a great point you said, because perfect example, United versus Liverpool, when Anthony had to switch and play left back. But the game has changed. The game it's not the same game that we've watched growing up.
The fact that Anthony was an example is crazy.
I know, right? Yo, shout out my boy Anthony. Anyways, but it was like the game has changed, and we've seen it. I've seen it against when Inter Milan under Jose, and he was playing Samuel Eto'o as a left back.
Yep.
Or a right back. I'm sorry, some one of those positions. And that's just the game. The game starts to adapt, especially with the wingers coming in. And you got the fullbacks playing a massive pivot role into the game, because it's like basically another man. You basically got another 10 role.
Yeah.
Playing balls into the box. So I get it, but it's just you gotta be there for the team. Shit happens, and you're not always gonna be that number 9.
Yeah.
You're not always gonna be like, yo, this is what you gotta do, get the ball, feed him, and shoot. I'm not discrediting anything from Haaland, but like I said, today we just needed some of that. Back in the day when we watched derbies and big games, it was always a player coming up, cooking, setting the standard, like, yo, Van Nistelrooy, Thierry Henry, like, make those bantering, you know what I'm saying?
Those moments are history. Yeah, they make history.
But again, kudos to both teams. They still in the title race. And at the end of the day, they both left with something, not with nothing. So
they got a point.
But
they got a point. And I feel like it might have been a little more nerve-wracking for the Arsenal and Man City fans. Because for the neutrals, you're watching it like, oh, this is boring. I want more action. I want goals.
I want Arsenal to win. Crazy for me, but
you wanted Arsenal to win?
I cannot see Liverpool get a 20, and I can't see just Pep really just demolish. So both noisy neighbors, and it's like, I can't have that.
Yeah.
I'd rather deal with AFTV barking in my ears all day. You get what I'm saying? And then just move on. Like,
I was going for Arsenal too. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie.
They probably need a little something to get a little hype. So
just because it's been, bro, over 2 decades, like, without winning the Prem. Like, I just want it for that.
It must suck.
I just
yeah, I can't.
It's kind of.
It must suck. Shout out to Arsenal fans though. They got the biggest mouth.
Shout out Arsenal, man. But who do you, if you could call it right now, who do you think is gonna win the Prem?
It's difficult, bro. I'm gonna stick with my intuition. You know what it is, bro? I'm sticking. I want to say Arsenal,
okay.
But you gotta understand what I feel like is that Cinderella story.
Mm-hmm.
Last season for Jurgen Klopp.
Yeah,
that's it. He's retiring. They not gonna let it give it up.
Yeah,
they probably going. You still got great players. Darwin Núñez is starting to find feet.
Yeah.
Mohamed Salah is back in action. And, of course, you can't. It's got Virgil. McAllister's definitely finding his groove. Szoboszlai. And it's my boy Endo's looking good.
Yes.
Yeah, cool. But they could probably nick it. And depending on how each team just take on the next couple games, because today was 30 games. So we got 8 more games or 7 more games, something like that. You're basically right there.
Today was 29 for most of them. Some of them got 30.
Okay, so
West Ham got 30.
Let's say the 30th, and we got 8 games left.
Yeah,
right? You're already in hot fire.
Yeah.
So but I'm gonna stick with Arsenal. Please do it for me. Do something for me.
To get 8 more games, to win 8 more games is tough.
It's tough.
So I think something's got to give.
And one team has a harder lineup coming up. I don't know if it's Arsenal. I think I could have sworn it was Arsenal that had
Arsenal got Luton, Brighton, Aston Villa, Wolves, Chelsea, Tottenham, Bournemouth, Man United,
and that Man United
Everton.
preseason or that's done? That's
Man United Premier League in May.
And Everton probably trying to avoid a relegation.
Yeah.
And then you got Luton, one team that they be on smoke, bro.
Yeah.
Luton really be coming to win. I don't know about y'all, but Luton, as I feel bad if they get relegated, but that's a team that
They're a pest. They're
bro,
pests.
they're
like
out
facing relegation, but they could spoil like anything for
every
anyone.
game they went, they didn't get blown out. They coming in there to give you a fight. So that's a hard lineup, low key, bro. Because Villa's still in the top 4 race, right?
Yes.
You got Villa, Spurs.
Yes. Aston Villa got they got 59 right now.
And then you got Spurs 56, and then us, we're cooked with 46. But it's like you could see that coming, like So it's gonna be interesting.
It's gonna be very, very interesting. Another thing that's super interesting right now is a narrative that's building between the young boys going into La Liga right now. Enrick coming out of Brazil, Lamine for Spain. We just left international break, and they played against each other. Brazil versus Spain, which ended at 3-3. Enrick scored again. Just last week, I was telling y'all about Enrick scoring his first goal for Brazil. And then he goes against Spain and he scores again. But to be honest, I feel like him scoring his second goal was great. Lamine Yamal's overall performance during that game, even without scoring, was even greater. And to me, I'm looking at 2 teenagers right now who are coming up, who are shaping out to be. I don't want to compare. Comparison is a thief of joy.
Yeah, for sure.
But one coming into Real Madrid, one is already starting to find his foot for Barcelona. It's giving very much Messi versus Ronaldo vibes.
That's crazy.
And it just seems like it feels like football needs to constantly have a
La Liga needs that. I ain't gonna lie. La Liga needs that spark, especially Barca. No disrespect, especially Barca.
Yeah.
Because we were so used to that iconic.
Without it, bro,
Classico.
Without it, it's tough.
It's
tough to keep interest in the league for a lot of people without that, because it's like you have all around. It's a lot more balance in the Prem. Right? In La Liga, unless you have a direct Barca to Real like competition, there's not a lot of hype in the league.
Girona Madrid.
Yeah, bro, nah.
Girona Madrid was my Classico this year. This was not. But shout out Girona. City Project, not really shout out, but you get me what I mean. You know what it is, though? I got to give massive credit to, what's his name? To Enrick. Showing up on an international level. Two big games.
God.
England, Spain, scoring on both, coming off the bench. That's obviously massive, especially at his age group. I just want to give just not even to interrupt. I just want to say, Real Madrid, I can't stand y'all because they just take and take constantly. Leave him at Brazil. Unless he's going to Barca, leave him over there. You can't have Vinicius Jr., Rodrigo, Mbappe the son,
Bellingham, Mbappe coming through. Why? Camavinga. Oh my God.
I honestly think this might be a crazy take.
God,
but I really personally think this could arguably be the best Galactico team that Real Madrid built. I might be looked at crazy. But I think they're in that route. Let me rephrase it. I think they're definitely in that route.
Nah, fuck that.
Because let's be real.
The best Galacticos team.
I think the best Galacticos team because they're already in that realm. Vinny's arguably en route to being one of the best wingers in the world. And then you got Mbappe. Rodrigo, you seen him against Spain cooking.
R9, Roberto Carlos, Zidane.
I get it. But we're going based off player accolades.
Okay.
You was going based off a player accolade.
Okay. I'm going to let you cook. You Chef Oski, right?
Yeah, for me.
I'm going to let you cook. Go ahead.
You know what I'm saying?
Go ahead. I'm going to let you cook. Go ahead.
It's really, when you deep it, Bellingham, hot. Mm-hmm. He in there hot.
Mm-hmm.
Tchouaméni. Bro, I love to... honestly, out that whole squad, I think Tchouaméni's my favorite player.
Okay.
Very quiet. He give me Kawhi Leonard vibes. Very quiet, chill, just give me the ball. Camavinga. Then you got the back four, Rudiger, Alaba, even though Alaba's on the way out, but they're still solid. Obviously, Courtois in net, even though he's hurt, but they had that young boy show up and he still bodied stuff. Then you got the midfield itself with Modric still kicking it, Cruz still kicking it, Valverde. Valverde's young, bro. People forgetting how young Valverde is.
Very, very.
You get what I'm saying? And then you got Rodrigo up top, Vini, and obviously that number 9 position still to fill in, but Jose Lu and whatnot, obviously after Benzema left. But now you add that puzzle piece of Mbappe.
But hold on though.
And then Enrick coming in through the ranks.
So that's where I'm coming to meet you. Where does Enrick even fit within that? Who is Enrick gonna bench on that Real Madrid team because it's already stacked.
You got to understand it's about player rotation at this point, and I don't think it's about even player rotation. Enrick is young, so he's coming up in the rankings. When I did the comparison of the Galacticos obviously, bro, I can't compare the plays with all 9. Arguably one of the best strikers I've ever seen touch the ball. Zidane, arguably one of the best midfielders I've ever seen touch the ball.
Yeah.
And it was just those plays. You had Beckham, Figo, Raul. Like, we could go on days, Roberto Carlos. We could go on days about naming this 11. But what did that 11 ever accomplish?
No Champions League.
At the end of the day, that 11 barely, they scraped through a couple leagues. Barca clapped them up a couple times. Granted, Barca at the time was wild. But then after that, when that era ended, he moved into the BBC era with the Bale, Benzema, and Christie. Granted, a great era too. But I feel like this era upcoming, who's really going to stop that team once they're really in full force? Because when Mbappe comes to that team, Mbappe's another versatile player that we spoke about compared to Haaland earlier.
Yeah.
Now he's going to fit that Holga Benito style that's really going on in Madrid. You know what I'm saying? Maybe it's a wild take. Maybe I'm proven guilty. You get me? And I'm take me to court.
The internet's going,
but and they're probably gonna crucify.
They're gonna flame you for that, bro.
Yeah, but it's you got to see the players we're naming. They're all doing what they're supposed to.
It's not far fetched. They just haven't really.
We just haven't seen it.
Yeah.
Let's see now that 11 together. And I don't think who's gonna really give them that competition right now. Name me a team other than City upcoming in the ranks that we could probably see. Arsenal, yes, maybe in there. Liverpool, now Klopp is leaving. That's a whole
Barca. Don't do that, bro. You see, this is what. No, can we just let's address this? Don't take a sip, bro. Don't take a sip.
Nah, shout out Barca.
I'm sick and tired. I'm sick and tired of the Barca slander.
But this is where
Yamal Lamine. Did you see that boy versus Brazil, bro?
No, he's my guy. You know why I love it? I mean, Moroccan descent. You know
Come on.
I'm gonna be biased when it comes to Africa.
Come on.
Mom's from Equatorial Guinea. I'm gonna definitely be biased.
Hello.
All I've seen him coming up through La Masia myself.
Yes.
But you gotta understand, you still got the love of Brazil, the Hoga Bonito, that type of style. Enrick coming from the favela. They balling. It's gonna be great to watch both of them go at it. Right?
I can't wait.
But they need time. I don't think that
Yes.
because with Messi and Ronaldo had already won a Ballon d'Oro when he was approaching to Madrid.
Yeah.
You get me? Messi had already established that name when Ronaldo had showed up. And then they started building the Xavis, the Iniesta. That team was already formed. So then we got them when these players are trying to hit their peak.
I think this might be a little more interesting even because now they're starting on a clean slate. Because they both haven't done anything yet. They're both extremely young. There's a lot of hype. And I tend to say I would like for media and the fans to stop putting so much pressure on these young kids. And obviously we're doing it too because I'm like, oh, could this be the new Messi versus Ronaldo? What is this going to do for the league? Whatever. When these teenagers are just trying to ball, they're still doing their homework right now. They still got a bedtime, right? Like they're just finding themselves in their identity. And as athletes and as professionals, right? Like these guys are entering the workforce right now. Still, their bodies are still growing. Their minds are still being shaped. There's a lot still going on, and we're putting an ample amount of pressure on them. So I want them to be able to have the space to just grow and to figure out what their identity is, what their roles are on their teams before even trying to paint them as these future icons. However, though, it's exciting for me because it's like, again, as a La Liga fan too, I'm watching the Prem and the narratives are there. Right now with La Liga, like Real got it on lock, and there's nothing that's other than like if I'm a Barca fan, I'm still looking forward to every match. I'm looking forward to seeing how every team, every player progresses as the season goes on. But I'm not looking towards a La Liga win. Champions League is. Yeah, I could dream. I could think maybe we can win it. Maybe we can just
y'all got a chance.
We have a chance. As long as you make it to that stage, you have a chance, right? But other than that, we need a little bit more to stay stimulated and stay engaged. And I feel like once you start having these narratives and these young boys start coming up and they just so happen to be on rival teams, then that helps with the narratives. Like I told you before this, like I'm for the vibes. So the fact that Lamine and Enrick and they're both good, it's just like, and they're both forwards. So now you can kind of, again, comparison is a thief of joy, but it's easy to kind of monitor them.
Get the popcorn ready.
Yeah. It's like, he does this match. Or what's Lamine going to do, right? Because Ronaldo and Messi was like that. If Ronaldo's game ended before Messi's looking at it like, oh, I'm going to try to outdo him. Like, you get that sense that like they were directly competing against each other.
Competition is fun.
So that in itself makes me look forward to that even more. I hope that Lamine don't get the knock on wood. I hope he don't go down the same route as Ansu Fati, because that to me is still like a sad situation. I wish it would have just been
then I feel like
La Masia first team and then
forget it. But you gotta understand, I feel like that's the Barca pressure. And when you speak about the Barca pressure,
it's a lot.
I feel like especially right now, you guys don't have the funds to bring in players. So once you have a talent, that talent at that age, and especially too many games is being played. And if we look, for example, the perfect example, what killed the Arsenal City game that we spoke about earlier, international break. Yeah. Momentum shot. A lot of teams took that momentum. They was going through momentum, boom, international break. Now the momentum gets killed. You get players, you got to play so many games, so many tournaments, international break, da-da-da. It's a lot going on.
Yeah.
At that age, it's about keeping them healthy. Look at, who's Javi, right? Or Pedri. Which one? No, Pedri. Pedri always getting hurt.
Pedri, yeah.
And I'm worried about that. They go through that route. It's keeping them healthy.
Mm-hmm.
That's really what it comes down to. It's keeping these guys healthy, keeping them in shape. And I feel like that's what Barca goes through, not keeping their players in full form. Because look at Dembele, bro. Dembele been cooking with PSG. He's been playing like literally every game ever since he left Barca. He's injured.
Yes.
So is that?
And I never understood that, because at some point, even Ronaldo was playing at Madrid, and sometimes he would go to Barcelona to get checked out, to get like expert advice from doctors, because some of the best doctors in football are in Barcelona. So I don't understand this new era of now a lot of Barca players are getting injured, and they're long-term injuries. Maybe it's also the fact that there's a lot more games nowadays, period, and players are playing so much, like they're straining their bodies. But it feels like the standard for Barcelona doctors has been decreasing, and now, again, it's been proven. Dembele felt like he was a glass bottle when he was playing for us. He goes to PSG. He's healthy all the time. And now you could see in full force what he's capable of.
Yeah.
But I think that overall, though, it's Barca. I still have hopes, for a solid end of the season, for Xavi to have like a good farewell. Because obviously he's announced already that he's leaving at the end of the season. But yeah, for the young boys, I think you hit it right on the nail. It's like, just keep them healthy.
Keep them healthy. Let them ball. Let us enjoy them. Ball out. Let's see the best out of them.
Yeah.
But, you know what I'm saying? It's going to be fun.
One thing that, and this is just, maybe this is wishful thinking. I don't know, but there's no rules. Fuck it. Why not? Mbappe coming to Real. We got Mbappe and Enrick. What if, don't shoot down my dream, don't break my heart. What if
not happening?
We have Lamine Yamal and Erling Haaland. What if Haaland comes to Barca? I'm just saying.
Honestly,
we ain't got no money. I personally, bro, I could put $5 on the GoFundMe. $5, not $5 million. $5 on a GoFundMe to get Haaland to Barcelona. Haaland.
I got $5 on
Haaland, Lamine.
But I'm gonna tell you something.
Mbappe, Enrick.
When he was at Dortmund, before his transfer to City, I could have seen that happening. I could see the storyline become Mbappe go to Madrid.
We didn't take him early enough.
But right now, you're under Guardiola, you're under City, you're playing in arguably one of the best teams in the world.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's literally one of the best teams in the world. Yeah. Style of football, everything about them, like it's an historic team.
Coming off a treble.
I think it's impossible for him to. He's probably going to try to compete in the Prem. And the Prem is at its peak, low-key.
Yeah.
Every team, as you see from top to bottom, how they go at it. And at the end of the day, you said it best. Y'all don't got the bread, bro. Y'all don't got the bread,
Barca fans, if we could pull together.
Clap it up.
I feel like we
have off the history.
We have enough of us. If every Barca fan put $1 aside, Matt, I already said I got 5. So 5 Barca fans, I got y'all covered. Put $1 aside. We buy Haaland.
Forget it was just even buying Haaland. I don't feel like you have the structure to build.
We dead don't.
You get what I'm saying?
But I don't like thinking about it. So you're reminding me right now that there's a lot of structural problems.
They like to rely on, and it's the same thing. United goes, Kobe Mano, Garnacho, like we're relying on that, and it's unfortunate. We just getting too excited to see. We finally getting some outcomes. We trying to get, you know what I'm saying? So, hey, bro, you could dream though. You know, that's like me dreaming.
I could dream.
Like, I thought we was getting
okay with dreaming. It's sad.
We could dream.
But I'm okay with dreaming. Yeah, moving on, since we've been talking about Real a lot. One thing that happened after the Brazil match, it was a press conference, and Vinicius Jr. was talking. He was asked about the racism that he's faced being in Spain, playing for Real. On the pitch, we've heard the monkey chants and all of that, and he got emotional. And I wanted to, although we've spoken a lot, and there's so many different perspectives, I don't think there's like any new perspective to bring to that conversation, because we've seen what's happened. He's spoken about it. Footballers have spoken about it. It's just like something needs to change about the racism that these players are facing. Yes, but I think the more prevalent like theme right now, and we're gonna talk about even Richarlisson soon, is players like showing a lot of emotions, right now in the media, shedding tears when we're seeing a new wave of ballers. These are not just guys who are, on the bench. These are some of the top dogs who are being more vocal, right? And I think it started from like even Ronaldo and Piers Morgan, when he showed them that clip of his father, crying. And that's something that like this is fairly new to the world. Athletes like showing emotions like that and not being afraid to not be like the alpha macho man or whatever, and showing that, it's okay to be real and, be vulnerable in that sense. And again, I think we've talked so much about like the racism itself, but I think this was like a display of we're seeing a new culture right now within athletes, that it's okay to showcase that we're human. And my question is, can this be the beginning of now fans being a little more empathetic towards players and kind of like taking a step back and not being so hard on them all the time, and realizing that, hey, these guys are human, they have feelings? Could this be like that culture shift happening right now?
I don't think so.
No?
I sound crazy, yeah. I think you can't, that saying?
Which is real, that's fair.
You can't teach an old dog new tricks.
When
it comes to that, bro, I mean, we're on a different level of maturity.
Yeah.
How you're raised, obviously, your environment, that all takes a toll on who you are as a person. Forget footy aside. At the end of the day, some people, it's generations with that, whatever they do.
Deep.
Especially when it comes to racism, it's built in you.
It's
that
deep.
You can't really just change it. You need a nuclear bomb.
Yeah.
Clear a whole race.
Clear everything
You get
out.
what I'm saying? And start fresh.
Yeah.
Where there's no thoughts like, oh, back in the day, this used to happen.
Yeah.
Or your uncle used to do this.
Yeah.
Or, yo, this is fine. You know what I'm saying? Because in front of people's faces, we could all be smiling.
Yeah.
And when it comes to Vinny's situation, I feel for him.
Yeah.
But my thing with Vinny, if you witnessing all that in Spain, as much as you love Madrid, you love this, you love that, just leave. Just leave. You get what I'm saying? Set the standard. But it might be so hard. Like, I love Madrid. Why should I leave? Obviously, we've seen it in the past.
Yeah, because
they hung a thing of him. Blah, blah, blah. But if you really deep it too, it's always just Vinny. There's a lot of African American black players that play for also teams.
Yeah.
And no one really be coming at them. Yeah, here and there, Eto with the monkey chats, Lukaku in Italy. And let's be honest, we just expect that.
Yeah.
Like, that's ignorance at this point, and it's been ignorance throughout history. But then if you really feel away, you got to set the standard. And then you got bullies online. At the end of the day, I get it. Cyberbullying. Bro, it's a dude hiding behind a burner. You out here making millions. You really gonna stress to do what he's sending?
Yeah.
You get me? But when it comes to that, obviously sanctions have to, and they've been trying, but then they really got to step it up a notch with finding clubs, if so, holding the clubs accountable for their fans. So then that's when the fans could start showing up. But one thing about Vinny, I don't want to say he gets this on himself, but why he always beefing with people? If you ever seen Vinny, always got some
like other players.
He's always beefing, bro. It's like, yo, dude, why is it always you?
That boy's a firecracker,
bro. It's
the competitive nature, bro. That's the Brazilian in him.
But then I don't want to say with the racism, that's a whole different topic. That's just, I don't even want, that's just a sickness. But when you get to beef on the field, you're low-key asking for that, for the way you moving on the field.
I don't know if he's asking for
it. Like, do you see Tchouaméni, Camavinga, Mendy, Rudiger? There's a lot of, do you see them getting that type of heat? Bellingham, do you see them getting, look at Mason Greenwood. Crazy name to mention, but he's still out there in Getafe.
Yeah.
Does he see that?
What happens, I think it's different because one, he's like, I get it, because I was gonna make the distinction of him being darker skinned, because sometimes they tend to get the shorter end of the stick. But I do think that they also know whose button to push. You know that you're not going to get a response out of Camavinga. You're not going to get even like N'Golo Kante. It's not that there's no racist fans in the Prem. It's just that you know that if you do something to him, if you say something to him, you're not going to get a reaction out of him. Vinny has proven now that you do it, it's going to have an effect. Even if now, let's say next a Madrid match, fan says something to him or they throw like a banana on the pitch or something like that, which has happened before, right? You know that even if he doesn't react, you know, though, that you got to him. You know that he felt that.
Yeah,
and so because of that, I think now they're more prone to like the more reactive players. We're going to go after them. So in a way, you make yourself a target. But to the point of like him saying that, you know what, since I don't like it that much, I might as well leave. I think he can make an example out of them, but then he allows them. To him, it's like, oh, okay, you win because you got me to leave the team that I love, the league that I love with, you know, I'm friends with these guys. I'm thriving here. You got me to go out and change the course of my career because of what you were saying to me, what you were doing to me. I think that him like yelling back at the fans or like arguing with them and getting super emotional. You know, I've been in positions where like my emotions got the best and you realize afterwards that like, yo, you can defend yourself and you can be stern. But when you show too much emotion, that like, you know, your opponent sees that and they know that they have some sort of grasp emotionally and mentally on you. And so I think that he doesn't have to necessarily leave Real. I do think that the next time it happens, because it probably will, because they know now that that's something that gets to him, how he handles it, he doesn't have to completely ignore it. How he handles it is gonna determine whether or not it continues, and is gonna determine whether or not it happens to other players. He has to unfortunately be strategic about it, which is why he got emotional. Mm-hmm. He's just like, I just want to play football. Like I don't want to have to think about all these mind games and the next time, what do I do? How do I react? Like he's threatened to leave Real before, like the first time it got bad. So it's like the kid just wants to play.
It's not the league. It's not the club. It's the league. It's the people.
Yeah.
And you, like I said, you can't teach old dog new tricks. It's like it's sad that we have to have this conversation of racism in 2024.
Yeah.
But bro, this is generations on generations on generations, and I feel like Vinny just needs to just play football and do your thing, bro.
Yeah.
Ignore the haters because it's always gonna be there. You're gonna go on comments, and if it was remember Harry Maguire, that boy got heat. Anybody's gonna get heat.
They call him a fridge for like a year and a half.
Heat. You're always gonna get heat, especially when you're at that level. And you remember when you were saying like how fans got to be compassionate? Mm-hmm. They're never gonna be compassionate, bro. At the end of the day, you're gonna have your Jake or your Thurmans or whoever it is, or John sitting in front of the fridge with his beer. Oh, you fuck this wanker, right? That's what's literally gonna happen.
Yeah.
And no matter what, they're never going. If they ever see Richarlisson in person, or Vinny in person, or Harry in person, oh, bro, can I get a picture with you?
Yeah.
That's always gonna be the energy.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? So it is what it is. They just gotta at this point, you making a top dollar, just toughen up that skin. You know, and it's hard because you're a human with emotions to go through that. Imagine you playing the sport that you love for the club that you love.
Yeah.
And you're just doing your thing and people are chanting crazy shit.
Yeah.
Obviously, I know me, I'm going up to them.
Yeah.
Same way he does. But at this point, you're just held accountable at that level. And it's always just him. It's always just Vinny for some reason.
I'm usually somebody who sees the glass as half full. But I do think that, like you said, because it's such a deeply rooted generational thing, I don't think like it's just gonna morph if you start penalizing the fan base. If you start, one solution that people have mentioned before is like deducting points from the teams. And so if it starts hurting the teams because those fans care so much about the teams, they'll start backing away. But that only hides it in football. It doesn't stop it from being prevalent in society because if it's not affecting your team on the street, then you're going to take that racism out on somebody else some way, somehow.
For sure.
But yeah, I do think that I feel for him, but at the end of the day, I do think that he's getting a lot more support than some other players have gotten in the past.
Bro, history.
It also helps to be like one of the best players on your team or in the league. One thing that I realize is that fans really don't listen to each other. It don't matter how much sense that you make. It's just, if you're a Real fan, you don't see nothing that a Barca fan says. If you're a City fan, United, like, we just don't listen to each other. I thought I would attempt to make football fans listen to each other a little bit more by making it easier, presenting their ideas in a way that's more digestible, that's more palatable. And that is while holding to an adorable little puppy. We went out and we asked football fans some questions, purely opinion-based, to see if y'all would bear to listen to them a little bit more if they're holding on to some adorable little dogs. See for yourself.
I'm not a big Messi guy. He should have had 4 or 5 Ballon d'Ors only, not 7.
Any sport in the world. Name it, soccer is harder. And if you play it, you are top dog.
I think we need to do away with VAR.
I think we should get rid of VAR. I don't like it. I'm tired of the reviews. It messes up the flow of the game.
VAR for me is just ruining the game. Like, it's slowing everything down.
Now all the games as well, it's kind of a separate note, but they have like a plus 10 minutes now every single game.
Honestly, I don't like any Barcelona jersey.
Okay. That's just, wow.
We don't know how media, that is, know how to talk about any other team outside of the U.S. women's national team. Yeah.
2 of them are robberies.
Okay, which one?
2010 for sure.
Okay.
That should have been Snyder. And then, or Iniesta. And then the latest one should have been either Haaland or Haaland, actually.
One of these sports that requires foot to eye coordination, and no other sport really requires that. And it's also one of the only sports where you cover nearly 8 miles per game. And it's a 90-minute game. You don't get a break every 2 minutes like the NBA players.
There's too many stoppages in play. It's ruining like really key moments where something big happens in the game and then you take like a 5-minute break. Maybe we just need to find a way to revamp it, but I'm not a VAR fan. You doing all right? Are you a fan of VAR? Yes, no?
So you're almost playing to the 90th and then playing to whatever the next 10 to 15 is going to look like. I'm not really a big fan. I'd rather, if the mistake was made, if you didn't see the foul, little tug of the shirt, bring it back to the 90.
That colorway, man. All right, so for example, I don't understand why Barcelona goes from wearing like seafoam green to hot pink to yellow. Like, come on, like, let's tone it down, stick to your colors.
Bring back more mistakes in the game.
Yeah, not too many, but enough. You know, we have imperfections, right? Some of these offside reversals where you're talking about like a half a shoulder leaning this way or leaning that way, I'm not sure if that should be the decider.
Some of the narratives on Brazil's team, Brazil versus USA, I mean, they equally went through a rebuild. And we have like 6 Brazilians in the National Women's Soccer League. And you still hear about Marta.
I think MLS specifically should adopt a golden goal rule after full time if the game is tied.
The substitution, it should go back to 3 players, not 5.
The politics. I mean, growing up playing the sport, especially in the US, it got really expensive super quickly, and that should not be a defining factor as to your progression or lack thereof in the sport.
For the VAR, I would say, like, let the game play, man. Come on, like, a lot of regardless of the VAR, they still make mistakes, though. Because they go back and watch what happened, and they still make the wrong decision.
I need more camera angles. I want to see the skill. I want to see the finesse. I want to see the grit. Like, yeah, I just did that to you. Little, like.
Right now, I would change the commercialization of it. They're trying to do like the Super League. Too many people trying to benefit from soccer profit-wise.
You all right, dude? You look a little uncomfortable. I think after extra time in MLS, you do 15 minutes of golden goal, and if it's still tied after that, the game ends in a draw. But I think it would bring so many more Americans who are against soccer into the sport. I think there are so many people, which it is dumb. Like, I don't mind a game ending in a draw, but there are, I mean, I know personally a lot of Americans who are just against watching it because they don't want to see a game end 0-0. So give me golden goal in MLS. Let's make that happen.
I mean, when you have teams like Man City who are loaded with players and you letting them sub 5 players. Bring back fatigue. Bring back pain. Bring back crawling off the field in the 90th minute because they subbed in 3 players already. And you could not sub out anymore.
And then we've seen some of the political stuff, but it doesn't matter whose dad knows this guy or who's related to this person or who went to the barbecue with the friends and made some sort of sideway maneuvering. I don't think that should be in the sport, personally.
You know what I'm saying? Might as well don't have it. Because you see, it's clear a penalty. Yo, calm down, all right? Relax. It's clear a penalty, you still didn't give it. So what's the point of go back and watch it, stop the game and mad stuff, you know what I'm saying? So
You're missing that beautiful game vibe. And before, it was just about playing. Yeah. Like, you had a lot of great players moving to teams, not only for money, but for the passion of it. Yeah. So that's what I would change. I mean, especially with Saudi now and even MLS paying money, I'd rather them play for the passion, not the money.
Fair enough.
There's so much sauce, like, within what players, like, give to the game. One camera angle is not enough. And it's the furthest angle, point of view, center field. I need more. I want to see the sweat. I want to see those sweat, baby.
Quickly also, just on that same tip with Vinicius, Richarlisson had a similar interview, not about racism, but he also got emotional in his interview with ESPN Brazil, talking about his mental health. You know, after the World Cup, obviously, World Cup with Brazil, 4 matches, 3 goals. He had a good tournament.
Golazo to start at the golazo.
Like a candidate for the Puskas Awards, right? So he's having a time. He's doing fairly well at Tottenham. Right after the World Cup, though, things just start declining. And a lot of time when that happens, previously, most fans would say, "Oh, they would just go for him, like criticize the player. Oh, he sucks now. He's trash. Whatever." Now we start to take a step back a little bit more and think, okay, what more could be happening? We saw what happened with Dele Alli, right? Like a lot of times now it seems like, okay, we don't think it's strictly just the football that's affecting like their play right now. Like there has to be something more to it, which he confirmed. Like there was after the World Cup, somebody who he had been living with for 7+ years. I don't know if it's a partner, if it's a family member, a friend. He voiced that he found out something horrible about them, and so that was affecting his mental health a lot, and then which affected his play. And so he at some point wanted to tell his father, who's been his biggest inspiration to get into football, that he wanted to quit. And so to go from having, for playing for Brazil on the world stage, scoring 3 goals for your country, to now like you can't put a goal in the back of the net to save your life, and you're dealing with all of these things, it takes a toll. So, one, did you see the interview, and what do you think about the situation specifically as somebody who watches the Prem closely, the decline of Richarlisson and how that, like, from the outside looking in, what did that appear to you as?
I mean, from once he signed from Everton to Spurs, obviously there was a lot on his shoulder to fulfill. Yeah. Especially when it comes to bagging goals. And being a Spurs fan, they had Kane, Son. So you have to keep up with those 2 names that are consistently always going to bring in goals. Yeah. I definitely seen the interview. It was very emotional. But, bro, that's what their job is to do, is to deal with that. They're going to deal with it's sad to say, but you really think you're going to go out there and not get any. Look at Sancho. Look at Pogba. Yeah. Lukaku. We could go names after names after names after names. It's not just Richarlison that get the heat. Yeah. Marcus Rashford till this day is getting the heat. Bruno Fernandes, from being one of the biggest guys to like, oh, he's absolute shit. Get him out of here as a rat. You get what I'm saying? Yep. It's always going to be, that's what comes with the territory of a big club with a massive fan base. You're going to have opinions. Yeah. And that's why we need puppies. But you're always going to have opinions, right? So you're going to have opinions. But then now when it comes to that, does he deserve to go through that? Absolutely not. Like I said, previous to Vinny, this is what happens. But Richarlison was going through that even before this season, even with the World Cup when it happened with Conte. Yeah. When he came out on a couple outbursts on live television, on press conference, and how he feels about Conte benching him, how him not getting burns, how he was the goal scorer for Brazil, showed up here. But also, Brazil being a favorite to win the World Cup, getting knocked out by Croatia in the dying minutes, that hurts. You starting off, they was dancing the whole tournament.
Yep.
Full on energy. There was
Who was it? Was it South Korea that they trashed South Korea dancing the whole game?
That's kind of disrespectful, but vibes in that, right?
Yeah.
Vibes in that.
Jogo
so
bonito.
I understand. That's the game that comes with it. Respect the team, but hey. But then now you get knocked out. Now you gotta, to me, it's a mental thing. Because you got the likes of Ronaldo, Messi, LeBron, big players in this big industry, right?
Yeah.
And then also in the footy world, so David Beckham. You seen the David Beckham documentary? Did he fold? Look at Maguire.
Wow.
I gotta give Maguire a lot of credit, bro.
Yes.
Cause
maybe it's a United thing.
Yeah, it's just like
maybe it's a United thing because
he just got OD'd on. And he still kept his head down and kept them back.
David Beckham, Maguire too, but we've seen fully the full extent of like what David was going through that documentary. And he's got to get a lot. Shout out David Beckham, because that was a lot that he had to go through.
It's OD.
He went through a lot. I'm talking, if y'all haven't seen it, please go see it. Yeah, you had people, one part of the Netflix doc, his friends were talking about the fact that when they would go out, they would have to go with him to the bathroom and wait for him outside the bathroom stalls, because then if he was alone, he would get attacked by people. It was that deep.
And this guy was iconic to football.
That deep. Yes.
Iconic to the football game.
Yes.
You get what I'm saying? So that shows you.
He had no outbursts, no breakdowns, nothing. And he went through that.
Bro, I hate to say it.
Shout out David Beckham, bro.
I hate to say it. We as humans face adversities every day from everything that we do and we love to do. And it's either two things. You either fold and crumble.
Yeah.
Or you keep your head high and keep marching.
Yeah.
That's how we really see it.
Diamonds either.
Pressure
builds diamonds or burst pipes.
Yeah. What that make diamonds. Shout out J. Cole. But it's literally, I had to throw that in.
He gonna find a way.
At the end of the day, that's what it really comes down to.
Yeah.
You play for Tottenham Hotspurs, bro.
Yeah.
It's one of the biggest clubs in London. One of the biggest clubs in England, one of the biggest clubs in the world, very notable team. Granted, they don't got no trophies, but they still up there. You are a number 9 for Brazil. You know what players wore that number.
Yeah.
Do not expect to get an easy way out, bro.
It's
as simple as that.
Yeah.
You're wearing that with pride. You just gotta be a warrior and just take that upon it. That's how
do you think that I do think that mental health, the mental health conversation, I like where it's going in sports. I think it's important. But do you think, because sometimes I'm conflicted with this, do you think that there needs to be, like, the criticism needs to decrease a little bit from the fans, from the media, or there just needs to be more emphasis on strengthening the mental health of the players? It's like, keep the criticism, keep the hate, keep all of that, just make the players a little less sensitive. Or is it just that the fans need to be nicer and stop criticizing the players so much so that they can feel, a little.
What are the odds into changing a player to tell him to get to work on? And like he said, shout out his therapist. He said that in an interview.
Yes.
It's easier to strengthen one person
yeah.
than changing millions
yes.
of minds. Let's be honest. Half these fans are like 16-year-olds that be talking shit to us. You get what I'm saying? And a bunch of drunkies who just want. So, here and there, I get my little outbursts. Yo, Ten Hag, give it up, bro. Move on. You know what I'm saying? Like, here and there. But at the end of the day, it's respect. You showed up. You did your job. It ain't easy, bro. At the end of the day, I never step foot on a pitch.
Yep.
You get what I'm saying? On that type of level.
Yeah.
Where millions are watching me at home. Millions watching me at the crib. Hundreds of thousands on a week. Like, I cannot speak for them. So I understand that's when meditation, therapy, what that come through. But that's what you got to do to self-invest. And Ronaldo's a big example of that. Cristiano also went through hardships, but self-invest. It's having the best nutritionist, the best chef, the best facilities, the best way to become the best version of who you are. It's really simple as that. And
absolutely.
If you want to choose another route like Dele Alli smoking balloons and drinking like Jesse Lingard, you're gonna get what you get.
Smoking what, bro?
When they was doing the balloon thing that they be doing in the UK, the helium, whatever, and they start getting high. It's pretty weird. You Dele Alli, you play for Spurs.
Smoking balloons,
bro. I don't know what they was doing. You probably find a clip online. You gonna see a balloon and they just inhaling it, and they get high off of it. Shout out you though, bro. If that's your way of coping mechanism, you do that.
No,
you know what? But that's what I'm saying.
Don't smoke no balloons.
Exactly. That's my.
Do not inhale no helium to feel
better. And you
better.
got other
please.
people talking about nutrition.
Yeah.
Train harder. Let me prove they hated wrongs. It's mental. At the end of the day, it's a mental game.
I think there should be, like you said, it's harder to change the culture around millions of people and how they behave rather than just to teach like individuals or like a smaller amount of people to do something. So I do think that with the downside of like the mental health awareness movement is that I do think objectively that it's making a lot of people softer. I think a lot of people are using that as an excuse nowadays. Not saying that that's what's happening with Richarlisson, but I do think that it's giving people an excuse to not have to have their back against the wall and just sturdy up, right? It's just like, yo, there's this criticism is happening right now. You're catching heat for it. At the end of the day, you're an employee of this team, of this league. Like, you're supposed to do your job and just kind of learn to manage it. Like that just like Nipsey talked about this on a song of like that single mom, RIP Nipsey. Today's the 5-year anniversary of his death. But of like that single mom just try to, you know, figure it out, right? Just to feed the babies. That's pressure too. You know, a lot of people, and I don't like to compare people and say that, okay, they got it harder than, you know, so and so. At the end of the day, though, like you said, like a lot of people go through what they go through. And I do think that a lot of times now they use this excuse of the mental health awareness movement to be like, oh, you know, my emotions this, anxiety this, you know, like depression that, when it's like, these feelings, these emotions are not new to humanity.
Absolutely.
Just how we're using them and how we're using them to justify our reactions and our actions to things now. It's becoming different. So I do think that there can be a balance.
Example, you know what I'm saying? Like, look at you when we was talking earlier.
Yeah.
When did you come here to the U.S.?
2010.
And from what?
Yeah, the earthquake.
And did that affect you mentally?
Yeah.
Absolutely. And what did you do? You took that energy.
For sure.
And put that towards something. Look at your parents. Look at my parents. My parents came here from Egypt.
Yeah.
They moved all the way out here. Couldn't speak English.
Yeah.
Learned the language. Bought cribs. Taught kids generations.
Yeah.
You just got to use that to fuel you.
Yeah.
You can't use that to let that break you down. Our parents, you didn't go back and be like, I can't do this. Let me go back to Haiti anymore. It's the game, bro. You got to either adapt and become a chameleon and just adapt to what you're doing, or just take the L. On top of that, they getting hefty lump sum checks, bro. So at the end of the day, not pocket
invest
watching.
in it. Like him saying he got a therapist. I think that's the best
Better
solution.
yourself.
It's like, don't
ignore the noise. Get off social media.
Yeah.
You really need your PR. Let a PR team run that.
get somebody to
Take the
handle your
comments
social
off if
media.
it's really bothering you. Don't go on Twitter.
Yeah.
Just wake up, hit the pitch, come back home, train, sleep, and be around people you love. There's a lot of ways around it. You know what I'm saying? But it's definitely not easy, because I've seen it. A lot of players like Kevin Prince Boateng. I don't know if you've seen his documentary.
Yes.
I mean, well, the podcast with him and the 505. Shout out Rio and them. When he did that pod, that was his story when he found like God and whatever and religion. That's lit.
Yeah.
He was also going through it. And that's just the game. You're always going to face it, especially when you got mad money coming at you. You're partying every night. Everybody wants to be around you. There's more room for you to crumble. But, hey, shout out to anybody who does any type of sport or any type of thing that they go through it. So big them up, because I know I fought at the Garden twice, and I almost crumbled in front of a couple thousand people. You get what I'm saying? So shout out to everyone who really actually like showed up and does this on a weekly basis and actually like take that and run.
You say you fought at the Garden?
I fought at the Garden twice.
Boxing?
No, kickboxing. Yeah, 2 times. That was not easy.
You got hands like that?
Something like that.
On.
Something like that. You know what I'm saying? Ibra not the only one doing spinning kicks in there. Yeah, I mean, it was back in the day. But yeah, it wasn't. You go through weight cups, hardships of training camps, not seeing your family, not going out with your boys, missing out on birthdays, whatever. But hey, I got to say I fought at the Garden. I took those sacrifices to enjoy that. This is okay. I could do this. Vice versa. So big him up though to whoever and shout him out for him overcoming, because he contemplated suicide.
Yeah.
Suicide is crazy, bro.
Yeah.
So you really might be going through it, because that's the last thing you want to do.
He said, "Yeah, I believe you. If you say that, then I
suicide is
you."
crazy. So shout out Richarlisson though. I was a fan of him back from when he was at Watford and all that.
For sure. And to anybody, that's out there that's going through these things, it's definitely like it seems like the main solution is to definitely not bottle it in and try to overcome your obstacles, test your limits and all that. But when it gets too heavy to carry the burden, don't go and make a decision that's gonna, that's really gonna hurt yourself or anybody else around you.
Seek
help,
loved ones,
speak to loved ones, people that you trust, trusted professionals. therapists, advisors, whoever, because, it could save, somebody's life or yours.
Absolutely.
And, it's important to take care of your mental health, but be real with yourself about, the landscape that you're in and what you're signing up for. Because if you say I'm going to be in a public eye and I'm, subject to public scrutiny, what comes with that. That's going to be the positives and the negatives. So, just be self-aware. That's important. Moving on to the next topic. One thing I wanted to speak on real quick. USA versus Mexico in the Nations League final, the CONCACAF Nations League. They won 2-0. Banger from Tyler Adams. And then a second goal from Gio Reyna. Big shout out to Gio Reyna, Dortmund boy.
This is pre-Gio Reyna hype, though. Pre-Gio Reyna hype. This is Nuri Shaheen days. Yeah, I don't
First
know.
of all,
I don't know about this.
Before we even talk about the actual game or anything, which we're gonna blow over really quickly, because they won. They won the CONCACAF. Yeah,
hype.
Shout out
CONCACAF.
Shout out the Nations League. But why does it always get violent between USA and Mexico fans? It was a lot. I'm seeing on TikTok, on
the
IG.
Coronas, bro.
It's a lot of fights in the stadium, bro.
It's the gyms and the Jose's.
First of all, as somebody who's done kickboxing, what's the crash course on you at the stadium? Somebody tests you. What's the?
I ain't gonna hold you. I was at the Arsenal.
Somebody tested you in the stadium.
The preseason?
Yeah.
Remember the preseason Arsenal United?
In the States?
Remember when I don't know if it went viral, the clips of the big fight that happened.
I didn't see that.
You didn't see that?
No.
Oh, it was a big fight. It was right next to me. I just sat there eating my chicken tenders watching it. I said, yo, they all horrible. All out of shape. You got, if you're gonna pick a fight, just make sure you bout it. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't know what the next man is holding.
Yes.
To me, I just think that's super unnecessary. And I truly believe it's the environment. It's the environment that you put in. Like, look at the Qatar World Cup. Not trying to sound crazy, but not one fight was reported.
Yeah.
Not one issue. Why? There was no liquor in the stadiums. There was no this. There was no that. Obviously, once you get liquor in the system, you feel like you a whole alter ego.
You super
and then now, it's not just clubs. It's patriotism.
Yeah.
I'm Mexican. I'm American.
Yeah.
And then now, of course, you're probably hearing some crazy slurs at each other.
Mm-hmm.
So you're gonna. This is what you expect.
I'm not laughing at slurs, people. But I
can visualize it
because I've seen it.
Yeah,
I've seen it,
and it's just you gotta understand what you coming to. Yeah. And as a fighter, we don't. I don't think any fighter go out there and fight with people because you just know what you're able of doing and what.
For sure.
And there's always way to avoid it. But if it's directly coming at you, then that's a different story. The goal is to always, you're there to have fun, I'm there to have fun.
Yeah.
Let's just vibe out.
I'm not going to lie. I think, the internet fuels a lot of that. And it's one of those things where you see a lot of like internet beef and like tension build up and animosity. And 9 times out of 10, it's coming from people who really like when it comes to it in person, they really not going to do nothing.
It's a respect thing too.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
But these things, like you say, you put people who build up tension on the internet in an environment where now they're, drunk. They're under the influence. And now you get to really be like, fuck it. Like, we're going to take this internet shit to real life and go crazy. But yeah, anybody who's ever been in a, non-professional, like a street fight, I don't think they actually want, like, that's not something you look forward to. So I don't know why people build this up so much to where it keeps happening and happening again. Because there's so much that could happen when y'all get into these fights. One, there's people who've lost their lives in sporting events and fight like that.
For no reason.
Stampedes. Like, we see stuff that happens at Boca Juniors, River Plate. Like, it don't
I'm
ever.
dying to go one of those games.
It don't. Yes.
I need to be there.
Yes. Neutral colors though. I'm fully going all black.
Throw me in the ultra section. Throw me in the ultra section. I'm trying to get jumping. Yeah. I need that environment for real. But no, I'm with you though.
All black. Yeah.
Like,
it's never it's like you said, it's extremely unnecessary. And like, yeah, I feel like a lot of people just hype it up and don't realize like the actual impact that this can have. One, y'all get hurt. It's just this is why like a lot of times the rules in the stadium start changing and the games start being a little more uptight because now you can't, like some places you can't this is why in the US now, flares, right? You can't have flares in a lot of the stadiums. It's just all the rules become so much more anal because dumbass fans go in there and get violent and fight and break the rules and just get rowdy. And it's like now you're messing it up for matches to come, for generations to come. which is just like, yo, if you really got beef with other fans like that, either one, keep it on the internet or keep it outside of the stadium at the very least, please. Because now you have children also in these stadiums. Like, I'm looking in the videos and you have kids and moms having to get their kids away. And it's like, yo, you're jeopardizing. People are, we just trying to vibe.
That's literally
just
what
watch
it
the game.
is.
Just lose the game in peace, Mexico. That's the last thing I wanted to say. But
Probably
just
got your
lose the
boys
game
over
in
there
peace.
hyping you up like
For what? But
CONCACAF hype.
yeah, CONCACAF, shout out to the US. They won that.
I'm over that. I don't take that. All respect to the CONCACAF
It's
and all the nations that involved in it.
It's a trophy.
Bro.
It's a trophy though.
Yo, how many? They started the Nation League, right?
Yeah. They got
How
the
many
Nations
times
League,
we gonna see
Gold Cup.
USA Mexico in
In the final.
Just look at it.
I'm
Look
sick
at
of
how
it.
many.
No, I'm sick of it.
And that shows you just the corruptions of the Central American. And
Yeah, I
and
said
the
that last
Caribbean
week.
teams.
I'm sick.
Leon
of it.
Bailey came out the other day with heat. I don't know if you've seen it.
I spoke about that last episode.
And
Leon
that proves
Bailey.
a lot. That proves
Yeah.
a lot.
Yeah.
Time to if these other countries want to step up and actually see something out this CONCACAF,
Mm-hmm.
you just cannot see USA and Mexico anymore, and the Costa Ricas and the usual suspects. It's always here and there Costa Rica you get to see, but
We need diversity.
I remember that one year Haiti made the semifinals, bro. That was the best CONCACAF we've seen. Why? Because you finally had an underdog story, right? Yeah, finally had an underdog story.
Bro, I will never forget that game.
That's what I'm saying.
Versus semifinals versus Mexico. To this day, even Mexicans say they got a penalty. It was like 70 something minute. Mexico got a penalty. It was not a penalty, bro. It was not a penalty at all. But for the ratings, you need USA versus Mexico in the final. A USA versus Haiti final is just not gonna sell as much.
I think that would sell though,
it
because it's a new underdog story. People
the
love
whole Caribbean's gonna back Haiti. You gonna have a whole new fan base watching that final.
Look at it
They
this
don't
way.
think that though, because the more marketable thing traditionally, the more marketable matchup is USA versus Mexico. Bro, they did Haiti dirty so that Mexico could be in that final, bro. I'll never forgive the Gold Cup for that.
And
Ever.
If you look at Morocco in the last World Cup, the whole world was rooting for Morocco because
Yes.
it's a different story.
It's an underdog, yeah.
Me, perfect example. I stopped watching Clásicos. Might sound crazy here and there. I definitely stopped watching Clásicos because it's not the same as it used to be.
Yeah.
But when Girona played Real Madrid, I was tuning in. Why? Because if Girona does win,
Yes.
I got to witness that.
Yeah.
Oh damn! So to me, the underdog story always is gonna play a role.
Yeah.
And that's why that was the only time I truly dedicated my time to CONCACAF because it felt like, okay, who was the semis again? I remember it was y'all in Mexico, USA, and somebody. I forgot who was the fourth team. But I just remember because Haiti was the smallest team to make that run. But hey, maybe one day they'll prove us wrong and I'll probably see El Salvador in the
Jamaica.
final. USA, Jamaica.
Yeah.
Then you probably see maybe an El Salvador, a Honduras, a Guatemala. I would love to see that, bro. Shout out my boys, though, you know? Shout out the CONCACAF team.
There's a post that I saw on Revolt. Shout out to Revolt. It's okay to say shout out Revolt, right? Since Diddy sold it. Diddy sold Revolt.
No Diddy.
No Diddy, but Revolt posted something on Instagram, and it was essentially comparing. It was the post said Sophia Smith is the highest paid player in the NWSL, but she's still making less than Jordan Poole. To me, it was a crazy post because you're comparing an NWSL player to an NBA player, which just the math wasn't mathing for me. But it brought this conversation to me of like but the wage conversation that I wanted to address in women's sports and women's football specifically. The comparison for me, one, doesn't match up, but two, you have a league like the NBA that's making what $100+ million. How much? What's the? I had the numbers,
bro,
lined
at
up.
the end of the day, honestly, you cannot compare the viewership of the NBA.
Yeah, no.
To www you just mentioned right now. No disrespect. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to women's ball, but they got to make it more accessible.
Yes.
For you to actually see, for the pay grade to go up.
So around 10 billion last year that the NBA made. 105 million for the NWSL total as a league. Right?
That's what I'm saying. It's the viewership.
Sophia Smith makes a little over $2 million a year. Jordan Poole, and again, it's crazy that we're even comparing two different sports to just two different things. But he's making a little over $30 million a year. That's again because the Wizards' revenue is far. It eclipses any team in the NWSL. For me, the conversation is not, do I want, as a football fan, as a general football fan, do I want female players to make more? Absolutely. Yes. I want women's players to make more money because to be a professional athlete is not an easy thing.
Absolutely.
Right? I want them to be able to get their bread. Like they're stepping out there. They're going into a field where you have to sacrifice a lot to be able to be a full-time professional athlete. So the fact that if your pay is not matching that, I want you to get your money. My thing is the conversation should not be so much of like, how do we just, compare the men's to the women's? And no, because this men's athlete is making this much, that's why this female athlete should be making that. That's not a direct comparison. For me, it's more of the question is, how do we get more people to just appreciate the value of women's sports or women's football specifically? Because for me, it's just like I was one of those people who, before I watched any professional women's team, I was just like, oh, this probably, I've never seen it, but this probably ain't about nothing. And then I actually watched, right? I actually watched Gotham FC play. I actually watched Trinity Rodman play a game, and I'm like, oh, they're balling.
No,
oh,
they're balling, bro.
This is entertaining. Oh, as a football fan, I can appreciate this. So for me, the conversation is more like we can keep it as, how do we get more eyes on the women's game? How do we get more women to watch?
Be more accessible.
Right? The audience for women's for the NWSL right now is a little over 60% women, 30 to 40% men, right? How do we not just increase that number? We're not, like you said earlier, we're not trying to change the perception of a large group of people to get like all these male football fans to think, yeah, these women can play and this is entertaining. Instead, how do we just get more women to watch, and not just watch for charity, to be like, oh, we're just going to watch this to support women. No, women who are genuinely interested in sport, to see the value in this, like honestly, truly, to see the value in this game, so that now you're filling up the stands. There should be no reason why, like, you're asking for an increase in wages, but you have about 5 of the NWSL teams who are able to get 10,000 seats a game, right?
Yeah.
That just doesn't match up. So now the conversation, again, it should stop being so much compared to the men, compared to the men's. No, it's just like, yo, how do we get more women to be interested in this? So you can start filling up the stadiums and selling more jerseys.
No, for sure. I mean, they have to. At the end of the day, it has to just. It's an access thing, getting them out there, putting the people's stories out there. Who these players are. Why?
Yes.
Like Sam Kerr, for example, putting on FIFA. Okay, that makes her relevant.
Yes.
Damn, how'd I get a Carly Lloyd? I'm having another brain fart. What's the main one from the USA team?
Alex Morgan. Alex Morgan. Yeah.
There you go. You need storylines. They to just put them out there into the straightforward to see who these people are. And at the end of the day, it's about, like you said, getting more women to be involved in the sport itself.
Yes.
It's really what it comes down to. And at the end of the day, let's be honest, even women watch more of the men's sports because obviously it's more to relate. So you have women watching football games, American football. Then you have women actually massive women fans being actual footy fans. And then women that watch baseball. Oh, I'm a Yankee.
Yeah.
So you're more going to still get that because let's be honest, where the hype is going to be.
Yeah.
People follow the hype.
Yeah.
So, but when the Women's World Cup was on and USA was cooking, people followed what? The hype.
Yes.
So you got to really follow the hype. Oh, my
Build
head snapping
the
trees.
hype.
You get what I'm saying? So that's really comes down.
Build the hype, build the narratives. I think overall, like anybody who truly enjoyed this game, men or women, you want to see the beautiful game thrive. You want to see it grow. So I think that there's no question about that. Like real ones want to see the women make more money because if they make more money, also you get the best out of them. I feel you built a whole different culture. You're motivating, again, young girls out there who could be the next Sophia Smith, the next Marta, who can look at that and see, oh, I could make a legit successful career out of this. So this is going to motivate me to want to put my best foot forward and exude these skills, right? If I'm blessed with these skills in footy, I'm not just going to be like, okay, I'm going to play in high school, play in college, and then go be an accountant or something. It's like, no, I can be a baller and make a living. Because there's a lot of people, I feel like there's a lot of women who get turned off by the actual profession because you can't make no money out of it. So I think that, and that's not just about the men's game. That's more of like, okay, how do we change the perception? How do we get more women into this to support it? And yeah, so we can balance things out. We want to see it thrive. We want to see women's players thrive. That's not the argument at all. It's just like, let's stop comparing so much because then it starts feeling like we're losing focus on what really matters.
And we can't discredit Jordan Poole.
Yeah, Jordan.
Even though he be kind of sus and stuff.
Yeah, he dropped like 38 the other day.
Yeah, but he Jordan Poole.
Jordan be doing his thing. Come on, why Jordan caught a straight for no reason?
This is why we have interviews like Richarlisson. This is why we have interviews like Richarlisson.
Jordan now gonna be like, nah,
I'm gonna cry. I need to see my therapist.
Yeah.
This is why, because Revolt TV. Oh man, let these people live, bro.
Yo, what's something you want to leave the people with? Because we had some good conversations. What do you want to tell to the Evergreen fans, to football fans all over the world before we get out of here?
He threw at me, showed me. Gotta throw the quote right now. I mean, honestly, a quote for me, and it's crazy. It relates back to what we spoke about earlier.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's a lot mentally to deal with in your life, especially if you have a passion, and nothing is gonna come easy, because if something is gonna come easy, then everybody else could do it.
Mm-hmm.
Just believe in yourself, love what you do, and just keep grinding. That's really what it comes down to. Me and you spoke about it before the cast.
Yes.
It's always gonna be the topic of conversations. That's always gonna be there. So no matter what, if you're doing what you got to do, yo, good for you, and keep cooking. Like, it's really what it is. Like, that's
Absolutely.
how I feel. That's how I truly feel. Because you want to hear that from somebody. Sometimes you just need that energy. Like,
yes, sir.
We're always gonna go through it. Your underdog story is gonna be amazing if you just keep believing in what you got to do.
Absolutely.
That's my little touch in there, you know?
Yes, sir.
Very
yes,
similar to probably what you're going to spit.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I had, always leave the people with a quote of the week. And my quote of the week for this week is, a rising tide lifts all ships.
Oh,
and
what was that? John F. Kennedy?
I don't know who it's from.
I think it was John F. Kennedy, bro.
It's from the internet somewhere.
Nah.
I saw it though. No, but like my homegirl, I was having a conversation with her a few days ago.
I definitely think it's JFK.
But
and that's fire, because the rising tide. What does tides do?
Mm-hmm.
Rise the ships. It's simple.
Lifts all. Who said it? Who said it? Was it
JFK? I know it was a president.
It says unknown. I don't know. Hey, maybe I said it. Maybe I came up with it.
Yeah, maybe I think it was Robert. Maybe I'm bugging.
I'll take credit for it.
JFK, right? See, I used to love social. I used to love social studies, man. I love social. Shout out, Mr. Gorman.
I almost took credit for it.
Shout out, Mr. Gorman, man.
A rising tide.
Shout out production too, man. He try to sneak
shout
that
out
in.
Jordan.
Yo,
Jordan fact check me.
Yeah.
Hey,
Jordan FK in the back. It ain't JFK. It's Jordan FK. Feel me? But facts. But it still comes back to what I say. You gotta, the rising ships is. The tides is the ships that
lifting
it up, and then you got to go through that.
To me, the meaning of that quote is, emphasizes the fact that, once you're in an environment that supports your growth, right? It's like being in a forest, right? You plant the seeds, the plants are gonna grow together. Mm-hmm. You're in an environment where the climate, the weather conditions, the soil, all of that, just to relate it back to Evergreen, is gonna support the growth in your development. I think that quote exemplifies, like, surround yourself with the right people, because the people around you are growing. They're gonna rub off on you. They're gonna influence you to grow also. Surround yourself with greatness. Surround yourself with the right energy, because whatever that is that you can continuously are putting yourself around is what's gonna influence what you're doing personally in your own life. So be careful of the energy that's around you. Be careful of the words that you speak. Be careful of the things that you spend your time with, because that essentially is gonna influence.
Be, bro.
It's essentially gonna influence your life.
Seed.
Yes, sir.
It's like a seed.
Absolutely.
Tree does not become a tree. It becomes a seed, and it becomes a plant.
Plant
you water
the right
it,
seeds.
nutrition it, and boom. That's like a human. A human is a baby, develops into a kid, a child. How you nurture that baby is what your outcome is. And then as you become an adult, how you nurture yourself.
Yes,
like
sir.
I told you, Ronaldo, chef, food, healthy. Then he became who he is.
That's it.
Believe in yourself, man. Go get that money, bro.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Appreciate y'all, man, for tuning in. Again, make sure y'all subscribe to the Gold channel. Make sure, you tap in with my boy right here, man. We're going to put all your tags, everything
_
on there.
Oski.
Yes, sir. on all socials. Make sure download the episode, rate us 5 stars, on all listening platforms. We appreciate y'all so much for tuning in to another episode of Evergreen, and we're going to see y'all on the next one. Peace out, man.